there if it's 5 rounds. that's why I pulled out my phone to look. I was like, oh God, we're off. But somebody routinely programs Helen as 5 rounds.
I mean, mine are like my 2 times for Helen and Mile are almost exactly the same right now.
I think Helen's a great workout. I just think it's a really good blend to move.
I liked Annie.
Annie?
The other day.
You like chopping ropes and doing sit-ups, do you?
No.
What's your favorite girl WOD? That's a good question.
That is a great question.
Yeah. Favorite female benchmark.
I can't think of
Who
them
do you
all.
like to do?
I can't think of them all.
You got Grace, it's 30 clean jerks. Isabel's 30 snatches. Jackie's 1,000-meter row, 50 thrusters with a bar, 30 pull-ups.
Did Jackie recently.
We did
I
do
don't
Jackie.
like
We all
Jackie.
did her. Annie, Karen. I've never done
What's
Karen.
Karen?
150 wall balls for
150
time.
wall balls.
No, I wouldn't like that. Actually, it probably wouldn't be that bad because I'd break them up into like 10s. My time would probably suck,
Yeah,
but
do it in 18 minutes, but
yeah.
Karen's a good wide for somebody who feels like they're starting to get pretty good at CrossFit. Can you do Karen unbroken with an 8-pound ball?
Oh, okay.
Can you go 150 wall shots with an 8-pound ball unbroken?
Negative.
Yeah, I mean it's a
I could do
good
150
gauge
air
for that.
squats
So,
unbroken, so I sure as fuck can't do 150.
that's a good thing about the wall ball is it
Yep.
makes you keep the same pace for the air squat. It
Yep.
basically just turns into an air squat. If you're
Yep.
doing a light ball,
Right.
So it's like, can you actually have the actual
What are the long ones?
cardiorespiratory endurance for air
What are the
squats?
long ones, the ones that you do.
Nancy's a bad one.
Yeah.
Which one's that one?
5 rounds, 400-meter run.
Nancy will
Is it
expose.
15 overhead squats? I think it's 15.
It's 15 overhead squats,
It's a
95
ridiculous amount of
pounds.
overhead
If
squats.
No, there's a couple that are just.
Nancy will expose a lot of weaknesses and mobility if you have them. So.
It's a couple of them that's just movements for 30 minutes, however many rounds you get.
Cindy.
Which one's that one?
No, that's Cindy and
There's
Mary.
2 of them that are like that.
Cindy and Mary. I think they're 20.
They're both 20.
20 minutes.
Mary is like pistols, chest to bars,
Oh, no.
and handstand push-ups. Cindy is push-ups, air squats, pull-ups.
Pull-ups. Yeah.
That one I like.
Really? I'd get bored in that one.
You get a lot of time to rest before those pull-ups. Get a lot of time to rest looking at the pull-up bar.
Hey, my pull-ups gotten better. Once I shed a little fat ass weight.
I saw Austin Hager one time do that. Do Cindy strict with a weighted vest, and he got to like round 17 in 20 minutes.
sure.
That was pretty impressive.
Yes. Talk about somebody with a motor. Could go.
Yeah.
What's your favorite girl
He
workout?
was a good pacer too.
I don't know if he's a good pacer. I just think he didn't know pain.
That's actually accurate.
I actually don't know if he ever.
But I never, maybe I didn't see him work out as much as you guys did, but I never saw him after a workout like collapse on the floor, roll around, writhing like Esther used to do.
Yeah,
I
Well,
never
I think
s-
he's just dramatic.
Greg does it too.
Huh?
Greg does it
Greg's
too.
definitely just dramatic. Greg always says it.
Yeah, looks like he has a stroke on about
Yeah.
round 5 of whatever
Yeah.
workout.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Are we rolling?
You don't have a favorite girl
Oh yeah, we've
workout?
been rolling. Oh, probably 30 snatches for time. Isabel.
So,
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
You know your Isabel time?
No, I don't think I've done. No, I have done it before, but it was a while ago. Like this is like 3 or 4 years ago. It was like a 2.5.
Gotcha.
But for that training we did in that comp, I did 23 in a row in like 50 seconds.
Yes.
So that would have probably
right now?
been, yeah, so that would have probably been like a 120.
I did that for a burnout
Yeah.
because the 135 clean and jerks lit me the fuck up.
Got him good.
Getting that over.
Probably that toboggan. Yeah. How's your ski trip, man?
It's great. Yeah. Smart ass.
been waiting an hour and a half to make that joke.
Okay.
It was well worth the wait.
Yeah, but it was. Actually, I do wear this toboggan when I'm.
It's called a toboggan because ancient dwarves used to actually make those and put them on their feet.
Ancient dwarves?
Yeah.
Okay. Big feet for little people.
All right, Q&A. Let's get into it. Let's dive in. Aaron, this one's for you. What's a trait of a good coach, and what is a trait of a good athlete?
I think a trait of a good coach is somebody who's willing to continually learn, continually learn about new things. I think that it doesn't matter what you're coaching, you've got to be willing to learn new things in order to improve your craft. And that doesn't mean just because you learn something new, you're automatically going to implement it, but you got to understand how what you learn fits into what you are doing or how you can use it to help somebody out. Trait of a good athlete is just being willing to take feedback, being genuinely, if you ask a question, be willing to receive the answer.
And accept it.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Not make excuses for it.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing more frustrating for a coach, and your good coaches would never show you this, but there's nothing more frustrating for a coach than to have an athlete ask you for feedback, you open up and be honest with them and give them feedback, and then they completely disregard what you told them. Does that mean that you shouldn't evaluate what the coach gave you as feedback? Absolutely you should, but there's a reason you asked that coach for feedback, because you valued their opinion.
Yeah.
If they took the time and they were honest with you in giving feedback back, then absorb it and do the best that you can to make those adjustments or those changes that you need to make.
I think it's important to know as an athlete, if you're asking a question, are you asking it because you want to know, or are you just asking for validation of what you already think you know? It's like, if you're just asking the question to hear like exactly what you think you know, but you just want to kind of like prove that you did know it, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
one of those like moments where it's like, yeah, I just wanted to show that I knew what was going on. Like, all right, man, that's cool. But and then all you did was waste the coach's time because he thinks it's a moment he needs to be teaching you, but really you're just like, oh, I know. Or better yet, the coach is going to give you a completely different answer than what you thought you had in your head, and then you just don't even use that information because you're too caught up thinking that you already had it down and you aren't ready to take the step back and like evaluate what the coach just said. Kind of like what you were just saying, like you got to be ready to hear that feedback and not let, like, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't like necessarily bother me, but I see the people who take in the feedback and get things corrected, whether it's immediately or it's over time, which some things it takes over time to be corrected, some things can be corrected in seconds. It just depends on what level it falls under. But like one of the most frustrating things to hear back to me is, oh, I know. Like, well, okay, do you know, or do you understand, like, there's knowing that there's an issue, but if it doesn't mean you know the solution.
Or why there's an issue.
So all you're hearing and all you're taking in from the coach is that they also know the issue. That's not what the coach is saying. So you've already shut it off. The coach is simply telling you what the issue is, and if you know that, that's great. But then when the coach is telling you the solution as well, you're like, I know. You don't know the solution yet, right? Hopefully that's why you're going to that coach. Because that coach is going to help you find a solution. The most important thing is, and it can be frustrating, especially like if you're doing a workout, and it's why I always laugh at these moments in like I don't laugh at them, But it's why I try to minimize these moments in like open workouts as much as possible. Like you see someone struggling with something and they're like super frustrated and they're like, and then, you know, like it's happened with my wife before. Like she's gotten to a movement in the open where it's like she can't do the movement or she's struggling with the movement, right? And then someone else comes up and is like, you need to help her. And I'm like, I can't help her right now. Nothing I can, like, there's no, like, mythical cue that gets you that thing that you want right now. What has to happen, that's not to throw my wife under the bus, because I think we all know she's a way better athlete than me, like, for putting in a fourth of the time that I would put in working out.
Head and shoulders better.
But it's happened with multiple people. Multiple people.
When you're in the thick of it, you can't fix it.
Yeah.
It takes the
But,
energy and time.
like, yeah, that needed to be fixed 6 weeks ago. There's nothing we can do about it now.
Accept it, move on.
Accept it, move on, recharge, recalibrate, and go about fixing it how you need. Right? Don't look at me and distraught and tell me the boat is sinking when you can't get that ring muscle up in the open and you're on the rings twice and you haven't worked on your strict pull-ups and you don't have the lat strength to do it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to hate you. I'm still going to love you. All right? But don't expect me to be like, oh, you know what? If you just, you know, get your feet up a little higher. The amount of percentage of people that are actually like right there that can be fixed with one simple cue within like 10 seconds is like 2%. I found. Like 2%. So what are the odds that you're in that 2% or you're in the 98? Now, I'm not saying you're not allowed to ask if you're in that 2%. You just need that one or two things left to fix it. I'm not saying that conversation's bad.
Be prepared to be told that you're in the 98%.
Yeah, be prepared to be told you're in the 98.
It's going to take you a couple months.
Be prepared to tell when you think your goal for February is a toast bar, and I'm saying that should be your goal for June.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Or anything.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Though. You would rather have a coach be honest and upfront with you about something like that than them tell you, oh, yeah, we can get that fixed in 2 weeks. Yeah. And then you get frustrated and you're not able to get it fixed.
And then you end up never trusting that coach.
Yeah. And, hey, maybe Chris or Shane or Jen or Tiff or Bryce or Paige tells you it's going to take you 3 months to get to this point. And maybe a month later, you get to that point. And that's awesome. That's phenomenal. That's great.
Yeah.
But you would rather them be honest with you about how long it could potentially take you to get there than you get frustrated and think, well, this isn't working, or it's got to be that coach, or it's got to be me is the reason why it's not working. So, but just being realistic out front.
Yeah. I agree. Got to be. Totally, 100%. All right. The importance of core strength in CrossFit. That's a good one.
Name a movement in CrossFit that you don't need core strength for.
Yeah.
Very true. Name a movement that we do once a week that is best for building your core.
That we do once a week?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Shane.
We have not gone a week since probably opening, honestly, or we haven't done this movement at least once.
I'm going to say it starts with the same letter as your name.
Anyway, sit-ups?
Nope.
This might be why your legs are so small.
No, man.
I
don't think it's. No, it's not that either.
Oh, it's not that.
Oh.
I bet you we hadn't gone a week without doing squats.
No, we
Some
haven't
form.
done a week
Some
doing
form.
squats.
I'm just trying to...
When I say best for building core strength, I mean like a core specific movement that is really 90% just for the core. That's a good guess. I would put that up there. Single arm farmer carry.
Oh yeah. God, they did those yesterday.
It's so underrated, and that's why I try to get so many people to do them heavier. Because if you've ever picked up a heavy single arm farmer carry and you just touch your opposite side, you're like, oh.
It really makes you aware too, if you do them heavy, of discrepancies between asymmetry in your strength of your body.
Yeah.
Like what was those yesterday with the red kettlebell, and that 100 meters, right, fine. 100 feet, no big deal.
Yeah.
But 100 meters
Yeah.
at 70 pounds, I mean,
So
To the extent, and I'm gonna throw this one out there, and I feel like I know what you're gonna say, and I know what you're gonna say, but if you had an athlete and you were training them for any athletic endeavor, more important to do 200 sit-ups or 200 meters worth of a single arm carry?
single arm carry,
Most
absolutely.
definitely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
also
We got
I mean, it taxes you. I mean,
Yeah.
it actually causes some cardio. Like just our last thing, it tests your cardio
well, it's kind of like, all right.
because you have to brace and breathe, and I mean,
I've spent like months trying to think of this analogy, and like off and on. And when I say spent months, I mean like I'll think about it for 5 seconds and then stop. Right? Like trying to get people to understand what core rigidity does for the extremity. Like CrossFit goes over in level 1, like it's core to extremity movements, right? You tighten up your core, and it makes it so you can produce power from your extremities, right?
yeah,
Like if you have a soft core, you're not going to be able to push as much with your
Right.
arms. You're not going to be able to drive as much with your legs, right? And you have to have that tightness. And I would almost argue it is core strength, but it's also core endurance,
right.
right? If you tie that to, like we just spent a lot of time talking about how do you know when your cardio is improved, right? And how, the lungs and the heart are a muscle, and that's pumping blood through your body, and that has to work, all right? And what good endurance is it can do it over and over and over and over and over, right?
Right.
When you're doing a CrossFit workout, let's say you got push-ups, front squats at 95, and rowing. Front squats, pretty full body movement, right? It uses a lot of your body, okay? You gotta have postural strength and legs. Your arms, if you have decent mobility, can kind of take a break in front squats, I'd say. Like, is it the most recoverable position? No, but it can kind of recover. Rowing, it's kind of more in the back. It's gonna be in the legs too, okay? But your chest is pretty relaxed in a row, okay? When you're doing push-ups, you're using a lot of chest, shoulders, triceps. The only one thing that you can point to that 100% has to be engaged through all those things is the core.
Right.
So if your core is not strong and your core doesn't have endurance, guess what's taking up all that blood, and you're getting tired a lot quicker. Right? You got to have that core strength, and you have to have that core endurance, which is why we do a lot of carries, because that core endurance will make it that, maybe the difference between you doing Fran unbroken and not doing Fran unbroken isn't your leg power and how much you can do pull-ups. It's just because your core fatigues out and you're unable to kip because you got no core left in your hip flexors, because it's taken over for your obliques, right? So being able to hold static positions and be strong in the core are, I think, two of the most important things ever. And if you take an athlete to a field,
I was about to say,
Yeah.
when you take an athlete to the field, their ability to transfer power from their lower body to their upper body, as I work with athletes, what I always tell them is you're going to have power leakages through your weakest point. Well, if your core is your weakest point, or if your core is weak, then any power that you have coming from your upper or from your lower body to your upper body is gonna leak out. That's huge in contact sports. It's huge in sprinting, because you talk to a lot of people that don't think your upper body's that active in sprinting. Not talking about running over a long distance, but talking about actual sprinting. And what you're going to find is that in sprinting, the arm drive is huge. And your ability to transfer that power through the body all comes with what's going on in that core. It's the reason why when I work with a high school athlete, we're going to spend a lot of time developing that core and developing that core in a functional manner. I asked earlier the 200 sit-ups or the carry. I would much rather have the carry because that is transferring that strength development throughout the body. Yeah. And I give you an example, if I put a younger athlete or any athlete in a squat rack and I have them squat and those hips shoot up and they bail out forward, I know I've got a good bit of core work to do. And that, to me, that's a scary situation because that athlete definitely has to have more core work for the power transfer that's needed in pretty much any sports you're going to play. It's not just contact sports. It's not just field sports. I mean, you can make the same case for that athlete if they're playing basketball. You make the same case for that athlete if they're playing tennis, if they're playing baseball. If you want to get your power transfer from the lower body to the upper body, your core has got to be strong.
100%. 100%.
Thanks, bro.
Yep. All right. If you could only do one movement, what movement would you do?
What's the purpose?
Because
because it's fun, you like it, or because you find it valuable to your overall.
I would say that's what they're after is what movement
valuable for your overall development.
Yeah. I would take this question just because I hate this question in terms of like when people say if you can only do one movement, well, like does that mean I can't walk? You know what I mean? Right. Like I can back squat but I can't run. You know what I mean? Like that. So I would take this as to say anything monostructural as far as like road biking and running you can also do.
Right.
So like what movement in a gym setting I guess is a better way to ask that. Like
bicep curls for sure, right?
Curls.
Right, curls.
We can tell our thoughts.
One movement. Are we going to limit this to like...
Man. That's tough.
Just limit this to like taking gymnastics out of it?
No, I guess you could leave that in. Why are you going to go muscle up?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it does shit for your legs. So.
So is that how hard to kick?
Powerful kick.
Oh, man. I'd probably say if I could only pick one movement, like one weighted movement, I guess, or whatever, I'd probably say a thruster.
I think my answer will surprise the two of you.
Oh, gosh. Nordic hamstring curls.
Actually, I would just honestly say squat clean.
Oh, okay. Nice. You get a little more pull in there. You get a little more back.
Right. I mean, it's as far as functional, I think it hits every single.
I would just say clean. Like that's, like you can power or squat.
Yeah.
I think it's just the same movement, really.
I like snatches. Actually, I know that's really surprising because I'm not very strong at them.
I think you're exceptional.
Shut up.
But I'm not even lying.
I think it doesn't transfer over. There's not a whole lot of things in life that require you to be able to fling
it above your head.
Yeah. And then squat it. So that's the only reason I say not snatches. But I think as far as hitting every single muscle group, developing strength, and even if you lower the weight and up the reps in muscular endurance, I think cleans are right up there.
Aaron's going to say handstand push-ups.
I think you could make a really good case for the deadlift, the squat, or the pull-up.
Okay, yeah. Those are good. All right, you get one upper body movement, one lower body movement. What do you go with?
Upper body movement's going to be the pull-up.
Okay. I think, believe it or not, upper body, I'm going to go with the dip.
So,
I like that one.
Where are you going with upper
But
body?
pull-up would be a close second. lower body, I'd ironically say the pistol.
That's a good one. I think I'd have to say pull-up too. Because there's so many variations.
Yeah.
Ways that you can train to
Do a pull-up.
Yeah. So I think that's a very diverse
Yeah.
one. Lower body.
Caffrey.
I think if I'm going pull up, then I'll go squat because of what you can train on your back with the pull
Yeah.
up.
That makes sense.
So if I didn't have the pull up,
Front or back?
honestly, I wouldn't really care.
Yeah.
So
Well, hot dang. I'd be the only one with a chest. All right, last one. Most.
Oh, we didn't. Sorry. Back to the lower body movements.
feeling left out.
Oh.
You didn't get your lower
Oh,
body.
my bad.
movement.
No. I just was thinking weighted Bulgarian split squats.
Oh, wow.
I think that's a really good one,
That is a good one.
especially for people who,
Very full range of motion.
are more challenged on the pistol.
What's your reasoning for choosing that
Versus
over
a squat?
over a lunge?
I like the I think you get better isolation in the hip, and just utilizing like your glute med and your piriformis and even your psoas, more so in a Bulgarian split squat than just a regular lunge. I think you can develop more joint stability with the Bulgarian split squat.
Gotcha. Sweet.
Well, last one. Most important piece to recovery. Muscle recovery, I'm guessing.
Sleep.
I was gonna say sleep.
What do you guys think is number 2?
Um,
First of all, how much sleep?
8 hours at least.
At least 8, but you probably need to be closer to 9 to 10.
Yeah.
So, and then the second most important, I'm gonna
Nutrition.
say, is making sure your nutrition is balanced the way it needs to be. So, I think people get too hung up on what the quick fix is, as far as, hey, I need to recover, so I got to get my protein shake in immediately. Well, that's great, but if you're getting 3 hours of sleep a night and your protein shake
It's your only.
is processed, and then all the rest of your protein is coming from fast food, we're missing the boat. Like, it's nice you got your protein in.
That boat
So,
sailed.
Yep. Shane has boats.
Boats. Not have boats.
I agree, man. Took the words right out of my face.
Someone needs to.
What do you say is the 7th most important piece of recovery?
7th?
Yeah.
7th.
I'd probably say what's your poo look like?
I was going to say a protein shake.
That's great. Your BCAs.